I went live and then the thing froze. Yeah. All right. I think we're live. I'll have Glenn check here and see. So, okay, yeah, we're good. So Russell's here, Terry's here, Paul John. Oh no, Paul. I didn't hear about Leo Fong passing away. Actually, I had heard that he was on the mend. Well, condolences go out to him and his people. Okay, so we're live on Facebook, and Mark Black says we're live on the YouTube. So I have no idea what happened to Paulo. Haven't heard back from my messages to him. So I thought I'd just come on live and see if we could fill in the time before he gets here. So Leo Fong passed away. Oh man, that's another loss to the Jeet Kune community. So Paulo had said that he might want to go more of a technical route with me. So I'm over here at Glenn's Place of Full, West Kendall. This is the area in which I had my school for close to 30 years. So we're set up here just in case Paulo had a question and I needed to get up out of the chair and actually demonstrate something. So not sure what happened to him, but as they say in show business, right? The show must go on. So anybody have any JKD technical questions that that I could cast some light on in the interim? Tim Ruttiger is here, Kenny Murphy, Steve Juman. All right, cool. Okay, so we got a good crowd. We just have no special guest. So I don't know if you guys have been keeping tabs on the Facebook here. We had another lively discussion and debate earlier today about it was actually born out of an exchange between me and Richard Torres, and then it was partially born out of last Wednesday's I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. And it was essentially it was about the idea of Jeet Kune being whether Jeet Kune is more of a product, like a finished product, or a process, right? Like an ongoing thing. And it's interesting because people like to say that Jeet Kune is a science, you know, or it's about using scientific approach. And I think most people would agree that science is a thing that is hardly ever, if ever, settled, right? I mean, look at the science behind COVID-19. A lot of the things that were considered dis or misinformation months ago are now considered to be de rigueur, right? What was considered a theory, it can now be a fact. So I think that if we apply science to Jeet Kune, there's no way we can say that the science is fixed. That's not science. That's something else. So the idea, going back to the central idea of Jeet Kune product versus process, if we look at Bruce Lee as an example, right? So like Paul is saying, right? It's not a finished product, nor will it ever be. I don't think even if Bruce Lee was still alive, that Bruce Lee would ever have said that he has designed the absolute perfect fighting system, which needs nothing. It's total, it's perfect, and so he just has to continue it. But by the same token, I think part of the confusion, right? Part of the confusion comes from these guys thinking that the opposite of, well, let's see, what's a good way to put this? You know what? Let me see if I can pull up part of the discussion here, because I think the internet's doing a pretty good job of cooperating with me, right? But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions for me about anything, feel free to go ahead and put it into the. Oh, look at that! Tim Tackett's new book is well, the cover is out. All right, sweet. We got that to look forward to. Okay, so let me see if I can find the actual post, and maybe we can start discussing it. So, hey, Bob. Bob says JKD has an established beginning, but is open-ended based on the individual. Yeah, see, so that I think that idea of Jeet Kune being open-ended and based on the individual, I think that's part of the problem in terms of their reluctance to apply a more open-ended approach to their Jeet Kune discussion. I think they think that to accept that whole open-endedness, individuality, I think to them that means, well, then you could go do anything and call it Jeet Kune, or you could go do anything and call it your own Jeet Kune. Because from a lot of his musings, I think that, and notice that I repeatedly say I think, because unlike Richard Torres's approach, which is to tell you what other people are doing or have done or what they think, I'm always open to the idea that I could be wrong. So I repeatedly say, I think what they think is this. I'm not telling you at all what they think, but this is just from my observation of their musings. So one of them is that if you have no control measures, then people will go and do anything. So one of their favorite things is the whole thing about style hopping, as Richard likes to call it, right? So the idea is that people like Dan Inosanto, because Dan Inosanto is as well known for Filipino Kali as well known in Muay Thai, he's well known in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's well known. And so that's what they call style hopping. And no matter how many times it is explained that, well, for one, it's kind of ludicrous when somebody thinks that they can comment with authority on Dan Inosanto, right? I would say only people who could comment with authority on Dan Inosanto would probably be the people who live with him or the people who have lived with him, right? And even then, we might be stretching it a little bit. Anyhow, I digress. So the idea that the Jeet Kune style hoppers are rejecting the practice of Jeet Kune because they view it as a style hopping process. They think that our opinion is that Jeet Kune is not a system. It's not a scientific system. It is an open-ended um, incomplete process. And that process leads you, requires you, in fact, to study these other martial arts and either bring them into Jeet Kune or call them part of Jeet Kune or call them your own Jeet Kune. I hope you guys are understanding this, right? So here's a thought. The entire, I posted this, right? The process of Jeet Kune is the product, but the product of Jeet Kune is also the process. You see? So if I go to Richard Torres to study Jeet Kune, he's going to take me, hopefully progressively, right? Hopefully procedurally, right? From point A to point B. So we are going to be going through a process. All right, I'm hearing from GN. He thought we were going live at 9 p.m. All right, so let me see if he can sign on right now. Give me a second here, because I was boring myself talking to you guys, trying to fill time. Okay, give me 1 sec. Excuse me, guys. Let me just message him here. He says he can come on in about 10 minutes at 6:30, right? Well, you know, Canadian time, I guess, right? Okay, all right, so let me rabble on for the next 5 minutes or so, and oh, good, a question. Okay, so Carlos Thompson, can someone be a JKD practitioner without having been certified by a certified instructor? Yeah, yeah. So if I avail myself of books, videos, magazine articles, this is interesting, right? You guys can see Carlos's question. Listen to what he says. Can someone be a JKD practitioner without having been certified by a certified Jeet Kune instructor? See, how do you certify a practitioner? You don't have to. Practitioners don't have to be certified, right? And this might be a thing that comes out of the whole seminar industry. You know, that people are confused about, you know, what certification is and what have you. You know, this is why you get people who like their first question to you can be, I think we talked about this at some point. Their first question can be, how do I become an instructor, right? People never talk about how do I become a student, right? It's always about how to become an instructor. It's almost as if, well, the seminar thing is automatically, what did people call it? Not a puppy mill, a certificate mill, I think, right? That seminars are all about getting certificates. They're not, or they shouldn't be, right? Okay, so anyhow, so can you be a Jeet Kune practitioner without being certified? Perhaps he means without studying under a certified instructor. So yes, you can be, because if you are training from legitimate sources, if you're training from books or you're training from videos put out by a certified instructor. We just talked about Tim Tackett's, the cover of his book is out. So that's a legitimate source. So if you're studying Tim Tackett material, Chris Kent material, Dan Inosanto material, Ted Wong material, whoever, if you're studying material at home on your own because that's the only way you can do it, then you are a Jeet Kune practitioner. Your involvement, your exposure to a certain degree is limited because you don't have the person live, the in-person guidance of a live instructor. But there are JKD people who have long distance students who do their thing, put it on video, and so they are taught by video. They're given tips and what have you to what to work on, what have you. So I mean, this is the age in which we live right now. We have the technology to do all that stuff, right? So so yes, you can be a practitioner for sure, right? Using no way as way and having no limitation as limitation, right? Okay, Mikey, why some of us train with other instructors? Well, that's a pretty broad-based question, Mike, because are you talking about why? Like for me, I train. So my principal Jeet Kune instructor is Dan Inasano, but I have trained with other Jeet Kune instructors, people who were what they call original Jeet Kune students under Bruce Lee. But I also trained with my seniors in Jeet Kune. In fact, I have also trained with my juniors in Jeet Kune because some of my juniors might have skill in a particular area, right? And so I can benefit from hanging out with them. So in my view, why some of us train with other people, it's because we have the what do you call it? Perpetual student mentality, perhaps, right? We believe that there's always something left to learn. Sometimes, like I've said this about Dan Inasano, for example. Why does Dan Inasano train with other instructors? Because it takes the pressure off being in charge, right? He's pretty much told me that he likes to go study. He likes to go learn. So, so for example, Mike, if you've never been to the Atlanta, the Southeast Conference or train with the Masters, Sifu Dan teaches the morning session from 9 until 1 p.m. or something. And then we go to lunch and then we come back and we're doing Muay Thai. Now, if you look through the little office window when you're out on the training floor during the Muay Thai session, you might see Dan Inasano in the office with Sifu Francis Fong working on Chi Sao, right? That's the way he is. So for a lot of open-minded people, they will always seek out others. And some open-minded JKD people might seek out others and just seek out just other Jeet Kune instructors, right? Or other Jeet Kune sources, or they might go beyond Jeet Kune and train with instructors from other arts, right? Yeah, okay. All right, so Jan says he's setting up now, but you know, he's a fancy video creator guy, so he probably has 17 cameras and four different light setups, you know, and what have you. Not like me, I turn on one light. No, that's not true. My biggest problem is my computer. I was telling Glenn, my computer hates to be taken out of the house. Right, when it goes somewhere else to a new location, it takes forever to boot up for some reason. I probably just need a new computer. All right, so now I'm talking crap because I'm trying to fill time before Gian gets on here. Okay, so anybody have another question? Is it a good idea to train with more than one JKD or more than one JKD sword? Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, look, it's a good idea to train with anybody you can get to. If you think, if in your own opinion, this person is worthwhile, this person has something to offer, then you do it, right? The cinematic version of that is what Bruce Lee telling the busboy in Way of the Dragon, right? If it can help you defend yourself in a fight, then you should train it, right? So that's a cinematic representation. I think Bert Richardson put that up recently here on the Facebook, right? Working off a prior question, given that JKD is non-classical, do you see value in training in classical art such as Bagua or others? Again, right? The value is going to be is the proper word subjective, right? You know, like a personal thing, what have you. So if somebody sees, so let's say let's call Bagua an internal art, right? And so somebody thinks that, well, when I train in Jiki, that's kind of an external system. So I'm gonna round out myself by training more of an internal art, such as Bagua or whatever. See, this is the thing about Jeet Kune, right? So yeah, Jeet Kune is non-classical, but I don't think Bruce Lee or anybody else ever came in and said, hey, if you train Jeet Kune, don't you dare ever look at something else, right? Okay. All right. Well, so let's make sure we got you. I was telling everybody how you have like 17 cameras to set up and 3 light systems and what have you. You know.
I'm here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody. Oh my goodness. I had it in my head that we're going at 9. Obviously, we're not going at 9.
What are we on a 3-hour difference?
I am in.
Are you West Coast Canada or East Coast Canada?
No, I'm on the Eastern time zone. Oh. It is 6:30 where I'm at right now.
Well, yeah. Well, Russell said you're just on Filipino time. That's all.
Yeah, but you know you're supposed to be on island time, right? So we should even each other out. So I'm still late, even in Filipino time. So sorry about that.
Man. Hey, I'm an American.
All right, there we go.
You know, I'm an American.
Well, I'm a Canadian, so I mean, I guess I got no excuse. But I'm an islander still.
Yeah.
Either way, my fault. My apologies, everybody. I'm sorry about this.
Oh no, but like Mikey's saying, you're worth the wait, man.
Thank you, Mikey. Mikey, who's Mikey?
Yeah, Mike Yuski. He's
okay.
one of my.
Man.
All right, so okay, well, this is the official welcome to episode 210 of the Jeet Kune Dialogues. So, like we did last time, you had told me that you hardly ever prepare for stuff like this. So
clearly, evidently, that's the case. Evidently, right. Yeah.
But I came over to Glenn's so that if you did end up with something technical, needed to. Okay, so all right, so you just froze for a second, but I think you're okay now. All right.
Yeah.
So what do you want to go with?
Oh, look, we have some questions here.
All right.
Well,
no,
have you got a training partner over there? Oh no, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties relating to internet connectivity issues. If you can hear me, I'm sorry.
Oh. Yeah, you're just freezing every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm seeing the 2 bars here. Oh, now it's 5 bars, all green. All right, sir. I know Steve.
All right.
Steve Juman said, "Sounds like we're underwater."
Doesn't matter. We shall endeavor, right?
Let us.
So,
GN, you are good. It's Dwight's side. Okay.
Okay.
I'll take that.
All right. I'll tell you what. Let me.
What a fantastic community! Right. Holy smokes!
All right, hang on one sec.
Yes, sir. South Carolina checking in. Usually training. Oh, it looks like, hey, what's up? Oh, there we go. We switch sides. Seafood White is on the right of screen now. And now he's gone again. It's just me. Oh, JKD. He's JKDing me right now. He's attacking by draw or something like that. By the way, I love the Jeet Kune community. It's been amazing. It's been fantastic getting to know the community by way of that amazing forum. Oh, you're back. Yes. And you're gone. Hey, guys, am I okay on my side?
Am I gone again?
Oh, no, you're back again. I'm back. I'm here. Okay.
It's not breaking up on my side at all.
Okay, it seems to be quite stable right now.
So you were saying that the getting to know the Jeet Kune world, right?
Yeah, by way of the I Love Jeet Kune forum.
Oh yeah. So like that, like the thing you put up about attack by drawing, huh?
Yeah, me doing Filipino martial arts and doing an attack by draw and the kind of commentary.
Yeah.
I think that your forum really represents the totality and in a fairly balanced way. And I really admire that, even though you have your own ideas about, obviously what JKD is, that you don't necessarily shut down opposing opinions, and you allow conversations to more or less unfold as they would. I think that's really amazing.
I mean,
admirable.
Look, it's not a fight. In a fight, I'm not gonna give the guy that much opportunity, am I?
Right.
Right. Okay. So I'm not on Facebook to fight with anybody, because that's stupid. You know what I mean?
Well,
that's
I know
ridiculous.
What that means.
Okay.
I shamefully understand what you're saying, sir.
Yeah. So that's not where you come to pick battles and what have you. For me, like I think I told you this last time, it is more or less an academic exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I come from an era where it was kind of cool to say, well, it's easier for me to tell you what Jeet Kune is not, right, than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So that works well if you are never in a situation where you're trying to get people interested in training with you, joining your school, or what have you. You see, you can be real esoteric in a vacuum, but when you got to deal with the day-to-day realities of being a full-time martial artist, then I'll tell you what, even if you are given to that kind of esoteric behavior, let's say that is the true you, but you are now in a situation where you gotta pay the bills and what have you. You now have to find a way to balance your esoteric nature, right? You got to balance your esoteric nature with the reality that you don't want to ever be known as a Jeet Kune sellout, but that you still have to pay the bills by being a martial arts instructor. You get what I'm saying?
I think this is actually, not only do I get it, I think it's worth elaborating, right? Because a lot of your members of this forum are Jeet Kune instructors, right? Mm-hmm. And so to a degree, I mean, where do you draw the line when your concessions become sellouts? Where is that line drawn when your business practice becomes watering down your true philosophies? When does it become an act of being inauthentic?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people got to pay the bills. They have, dojos to take care of, and they have to have kids' classes and this and that.
Right. Yep.
So when does appealing to the masses and serving the business end of your passion, in other words, how do we prevent those things from being characterized or perceived, I know we can't control how people perceive us, but how do they not become selling out, watering down, and being inauthentic to oneself?
Okay. Well, first of all, you have to be a person with standards, right?
Okay.
A person with standards spends the time, takes the necessary time to decide for him or herself, to differentiate for him or herself between compromise and concession.
Okay.
I will concede, but I will not compromise.
Are there, okay, let's get specific, for example. Okay. Is there a belt system in Jeet Kune? Is there a white belt, yellow belt?
Bruce Lee at one point had a colored ranking system.
Okay.
But it was never really visible. One place where it was visible was the stamps on the membership card.
Okay.
Right. You can find on the internet. You can find pictures of him wearing the Kung Fu uniform with a red sash. You can find people in colored sashes. But this is from the Seattle era.
Okay.
You can find colored pictures of them in the Seattle era. So apparently, at one point, he may have used that.
Okay.
Okay. So the colored system does exist. It was never known as white belt, yellow belt, whatever. It was never known as belt anything. If I was at the house, I could pull the magazine, but I think it's either April or August, Inside Kung Fu 1988. There's a not a lengthy article, but there's an article that shows Bruce Lee's ranking system. In fact, Glenn, do you have the thing? Glenn has it here.
Okay.
I know in his folder. So yes, at one point there was a colored ranking system. But it was never a thing, to the best of my knowledge, Jan, it was never a thing that was pushed and highlighted and promoted. And it's like, yeah, you need to pay, I don't think Bruce Lee ever said, oh, you need to make sure that his dues are fully paid up because it's time for his new rank or whatever. Right. So this is it.
Okay. So, when it comes to how this manifests in online discussions and arguments, then we can say that a school can choose or not choose to have a visible representation of rank. Whether that be a shirt, because some people are noting shirts, some people are noting belts, some people are noting sashes in the commentary. The commentary is so interesting right now. Okay, so then let me distill it for you. Outside of a visible representation of where you stand in that group, do you feel it's important for a JKD instructor to have an order of rank represented somehow? So somebody who's been there for 3 years versus somebody who's been there for 3 months. How does that relationship get managed as far as the ins and outs of what happens inside that dojo?
Well,
does it matter? Can I walk in?
Right? Ultimately, does it matter? Hell no. Ultimately, does it matter? No, not at all. Right? Because here's the thing. A guy comes in and he was a high school wrestler. Okay? Right? He's a natural athlete. And he's the type of guy that you show him a thing. You know how they say that like a kung fu teacher would show Bruce Lee something, and then like 2 weeks later, he was doing it at expert level, right? Or like I think there's a story about him and the Focus Mitts, like his introduction to the Focus Mitts. He was like, oh, whatever. And then 2 weeks later, he's got a whole routine on the Focus Mitts, right? So there's a thing called natural ability and natural talent. You cannot put a belt color on natural ability and natural talent. So ultimately, does it matter? Hell no. Right? You know how it's said, remember in the early days of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it was said that a blue belt could never beat a purple belt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really
right?
strict and
Yeah.
absolute almost.
Okay, is that still absolute?
No, I don't
No.
I don't know.
No, not at all. Because everything progresses. And as different people become involved, you're going to get let's call it the outlier. You're going to get the natural athlete who's only been at the martial arts school for a particular amount of time. So he's only done a particular amount of belt tests, or what I'm using their language. This is not my Jeet Kune language, right? A smart instructor does this, looks at the naturally talented, naturally gifted person and goes, look, man, you only been here 3 months, but you are operating at the level of somebody who's been here for 18 months. Here's your 18-month rank. That's what you do.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah. Why? Because it is a true example of where that person is at.
Okay, well, let me play devil's advocate.
To understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that now what I am recognizing and rewarding, so to speak, is his true ability, not the amount of money that he has paid into the school and the amount of time that he has spent there.
Israel Adesanya walks into a Jeet Kune academy, never having done Jeet Kune a day in his life. And because of his ability, this idea of meritocracy, he can become a Sifu overnight, because that's kind of like what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, you're saying that it's the merit.
I said a guy who had been there for 3 months, right, but is naturally talented and naturally gifted. I might promote him to the 18-month rank. I didn't say I would make him an instructor.
Okay, but based on his ability to fight, right? This is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Okay. So Adesanya walks in, right?
Yes.
Okay. He wants to train at my school, right? Okay. Now, based on curriculum, right? There's some stuff that he's not going to be able to do, simply because he's not trained in it.
Okay.
Right. But I guarantee you, we run him through it a few times and he'll pick it up like that.
Right.
Don't you think? Doesn't make him an instructor, though.
Doesn't make him an instructor, but so what I'm hearing fundamentally is that your ability to fight is representative of your, or should be representative of your rank in Jeet Kune.
They should be somewhat commensurate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me qualify that. There should be somewhat and can be somewhat commensurate with some people. So let me ask you this. Okay. Do you think that it's a majority or a minority of people that walk in naturally talented and naturally gifted?
I think it's a vast minority.
See, so this thing that we've been discussing for 15 minutes is not that frequent an eventuality.
Right.
But when it does happen, you deal with it, and you deal with it honestly. Right.
So
that's the difference. That's the difference between concession and compromise.
I like this because it leads me to another question that I have that is not a Jeet Kune thing, that I believe is a martial arts thing.
Hey, man, everything is Jeet Kune. What are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. FMA is just it's just JKD, but
we don't say that. We don't say that in public, all right?
I know, I'm just kidding. Oh gosh, did I just lose my train of thought? Did I just no?
That's all right. That's right.
Oh no, I got it back. So you've heard of these people who behind them are 1,000 ranks and certifications, and they've trained in 24 systems, and I'm a black belt in 36 arts. And those people are often dismiss, like, it takes a lifetime to learn one martial art. How can you have 36 black belts? But given what you said, that makes it possible, doesn't it? It makes it possible for somebody who is a 5th degree black belt in one art to walk into another system and within 6 months be a black belt in that system. It kind of, in a way, it leads to a path where we ought to be examining these people who are black belts in 36, 52 systems and think maybe, well, maybe. Do you think it's possible for somebody to have, to be a black belt in 40 different martial arts?
No.
But if those black belts were earned by way of this meritocracy that you would give to Israel Adesanya,
I still don't think. I mean, am I supposed to take you literal in 36, or is that a figure of speech?
Let's say, it's 20. Let's say 25. It's still a lie. You don't think it's possible for somebody to?
I think it's possible. I think it's possible for a guy to get his black belt in Shotokan karate, and then go train in Shito-ryu, and get a black belt in Shito-ryu, and then maybe he goes and he trains in Aikido and he gets a black belt in Aikido. Yeah, I think that's possible.
But what if you walk into a Taekwondo academy whose focus is fighting ability, and he walks in there, kicks ass, and then he gets his black belt Taekwondo?
Okay.
And then he goes into a Jeet Kune school, and he proves himself worthy within 6 months that he has the qualities of an instructor and he can back up his knowledge with physical fighting ability?
No. See, because being a top-notch student, being a good fighter, that's not what an instructor is.
Okay. But
see, I'm a really good instructor, but I don't have no reputation of being a fearsome fighter. You see, and the reason why I'm a good instructor is because I'm very intelligent. The reason I'm very intelligent is because I didn't spend a whole lot of time getting my head beat in. I'm kidding here. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
See you guys. Oh, the truth in humor,
right?
Cannot be denied.
Okay, yeah. So look, the best joke that I've ever heard about that is, do you know who Rick Fay is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way I heard the story told is like a guy says to Rick Fay, "I could probably kick your ass," right? And Rick says, "Yeah, I could probably teach you 25 ways to kick my ass."
Wow.
Right? You see, because Rick knows who he is. He knows what value he brings to the martial art world. And the major value that he brings is that of being an excellent instructor. I don't know that Adesanya is instructor quality. Definitely a fighter.
Right.
But being a fighter is not automatically instructor. Look, in Thai boxing, right? In Thai boxing, how do we get our what they call apprentice instructor rank? We survive the worst 6 minutes of your life. Right? You do the Thai test. So a lot of people who survived the Thai test now carry the rank of apprentice instructor. But surviving the Thai test doesn't mean that you can teach. Not automatically.
Right.
Being a Jeet Kune instructor is a really different thing, you know.
Well, let me
rephrase that.
How so?
Let me rephrase that. Okay. Being a martial art instructor is really a different thing, a very different thing from being a top-notch competitor. Didn't we talk about this, right? So look, Bruce Lee, right? Let's be sacrilegious. Bruce Lee was probably a terrible instructor.
Oh, okay. You froze for a second. Did you say that Bruce Lee was probably a terrible instructor?
Yeah.
You did say that. Okay.
Yeah, I did say that. Now, that does not mean that Bruce Lee would, but now let me qualify it. To the best of my understanding, right, Bruce Lee did not like the group setting that much. Him in front of a group of 20 people instructing. he liked the one-on-one thing or the one-on-few thing, because you can keep an eye on those people and you can be personal with them. It's harder to be personal with a class of 20. It's hard. Look, you know how hard it is to be personal with a class of 20 kids? Oh my God. Right? But now, a good school owner, whether he or she does it him or herself, or has an employee who does it, spends time on a frequent basis being personal with the parents of those 20 kids.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because you got to understand. Look, you know what? You know what? There's a marked difference between being a good fighter, a good instructor, and even a good school owner.
That I get.
Okay.
Now, where do we delineate good teacher from not good teacher? Because it seems like one of the factors that you're presenting here is ability to teach a bigger group.
Okay. A good teacher does not do this. A good teacher does not look at the student and say, "Don't hit into a clothesline, turn around and walk away."
He does not. Okay. And okay, man.
So there's one immediate person who will get that reference. He's sitting over here, right? And then there's like 3 or 4 others who will get that joke.
I'm trying to like understand.
Yeah, that's a Miami Jeet Kune reference.
Okay.
Right? A good instructor does not do that to you.
Okay.
Right? A not so good instructor tells you something, turns around and walks away, has no idea whether you understood or not.
Okay. It seems to me that is a contextual thing, because if that instructor spent too much time on one individual within the framework of a group of 30, no matter how good of an instructor he is to that one individual, he's terrible to the other 29.
Yes, conceivably.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's relative. It's relative. So Bruce Lee not, because look, I read some of Bruce Lee's writings, and by way of the forum, I get to examine some of his thoughts. First of all, a lot of them are misrepresented and misinterpreted to sort of suit the narrative that somebody already might have. That's fine, but he was a brilliant thinker, right? And he was able to express it on paper and in interviews. Does that not make him a great teacher also? Because he's teaching a group that's bigger than a small group, a different medium. I see what you're saying.
Well, but that is relative and that's contextual, because what you just described is something that happened maybe even accidentally, because Bruce Lee passed away and then his personal notes got published and he ended up being a good source of information and inspiration for millions of people around the world.
Did he write a book? Did he write books? Or were all of the Bruce Lee books pieced together from his notes? I actually don't know this.
Really?
Yeah. Did he author specifically?
Yes.
Books?
A book called Chinese Kung Fu, The Philosophical Art of Self-Defense.
Was that the only one?
Yes.
And so
everything else. So the Tao of Jeet Kune, the world famous Tao of Jeet Kune, should technically and perhaps even correctly be credited to Gilbert Johnson.
Holy smokes! This is new to me. Do you guys know this? Jeet Kune people?
Yeah, yes, GN. All real Jeet Kune people know that.
I thought he wrote like a bunch of books.
No. So
wow.
Let's see. Tao of Jeet Kune, it gets published in 77, 75, 77. I forget when. 73.
There's something biblical about this, where
How do you
the
mean?
book, like the allusion that I'm trying to get at is that the book was written long after the events that transpired.
Wait. Did you not see my podcast, the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast from last week that was titled Bruce and the Tao, Jesus and the Bible? You didn't see that one?
No.
Oh man, you're missing out.
Okay, so I guess the people here are already kind of okay.
Well, no. Here's the thing: we can't be sure that all the people on here saw that podcast either.
Okay.
I'm not that popular.
So then check it out. Like, why is my poor dog whining? Can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
Buddy, calm down. Anyway, so these books were pieced together from his notes.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. So
And
he was a prolific writer. Yes, for sure.
Do you think there are still notes from Bruce Lee that have yet to be discovered or revealed?
Quite possibly. And there are people who like to infer that they have the secret scrolls. There are people in the group that like to pose as if they have like some secret stuff that nobody else has, right? And
yeah, everyone wants to be special. Everyone wants to have the rare gem. But it is possible, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, no. It's possible that not everything has been revealed as such, right? But guess what?
Yes.
But guess what? Based on the extensiveness of what has been put out, I don't know that there's anything left that is going to make anything else clearer. You know, that would along and then swoop would elucidate everything and we would never have discussions anymore because everything will have been revealed.
I'm looking for this. This has to do with your point, because it seems that even the clearest of his writings, the clearest of his quotes, things relating to not taking even the name Jeet Kune too seriously, things alluding to the fact that, you know, style and form is a crystallization and it should be avoided. Even those things, if we can pin it right down to the man word for word on a piece of paper, even those things appear to be ignored, contended. So you're right, in a sense that even if new articles, notes were revealed, it's not like everyone's going to go, oh, it's finally clear now, because there are some things.
Yeah. Did he freeze on your side?
I don't think so. Just double check.
He froze on my end.
Watching? No, it's going. No. Wow.
Okay, you froze for a second there, right?
Okay, am I back now? Because you were
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
This thing is messing with us. Okay, so what was it you said?
Oh, what I was saying is that even if there were some notes that were revealed, new notes, even if they were incredibly conclusive, it's not like the Jeet Kune community is going to stop arguing amongst each other about it.
Well, okay, so when let's see, the Book of Thomas or the Dead Sea Scrolls or whatever, whenever any new religious stuff was discovered, did it clear up anything? Did people stop arguing over it?
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Because that's human nature. Right. Somebody is gonna pick a fight with somebody.
You familiar with the Avengers?
Wait, Glenn's right here. Which one is the Avengers, Glenn?
Marvel.
Marvel?
Yes.
What do they look like?
Captain America, Hulk, Iron
Oh,
Man,
okay. Captain America, Hulk, who?
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Is it Glenn? Ask Glenn
Yeah.
who put it. Ask Glenn who assembled them.
Who assembled the Avengers?
Mhm.
Who assembled the Avengers?
Nick Fury from Shield.
Okay.
Nick Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From where?
Shield.
Nick Fury from, that is not SHIELD. It's SHIELD.
Yes, and that is an acronym for something.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
You can't call it SHIELD. It's SHIELD. Now, you want me to tell you what that means? Yeah, right.
I was about to be super impressed. Wow. Dang. Okay.
But I will go home and look it up.
Okay. Well, let's call you Nick Fury.
Okay.
And you, Nick Fury, today have to assemble your Avengers of Jeet Kune.
Okay. Why am I calling them Avengers? Are they going to go out and slay?
Yeah.
They're going to go and
bad guys.
They're going to go and get even.
Yeah. They're gonna right the wrongs and spread justice throughout the martial arts landscape.
I like the sound of this.
Okay. You, sir, are Nick Fury. And I just happen to be sitting across the table from Nick Fury as he's beginning to really think about candidates for the Avengers. So without necessarily choosing, who's a candidate in your view to create the JKD Avengers?
Okay, and it has to be people still living.
Yeah.
Okay. Tommy Carruthers, Joaquin Marcelo, Mike Gittleson.
Okay, can you remember these? Because I'm going to ask you about them. Like, why? Can you say a name and then why? I
have in my notebook.
Sifu, Joaquin Marcelo. Somebody commented with that. Who is this?
All right.
Joaquin Marcelo. Certainly sounds like a superhero.
Okay, so Joaquin Marcelo, I said, right?
Wow.
Mike Gittleson.
Mike Gittleson.
Right.
Hey guys, for the people watching right now, just leave a comment about who you would put or who you would nominate for Nick Fury's consideration for the JK.
How many Avengers are there?
There's a lot.
There's a ton.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I could, okay, all right.
But there's some main ones that are cooler than the others or get more movie time.
Okay, all right. So
this is a cool thing.
Now, what am I limited in any way? Because like I would put Tim Tackett on there, but Tim Tackett is retired.
You know, a tenet of a good movie like this usually involves the
advisors?
organizer, to pull people out of retirement, right? So you see the guy who's a mechanic, and it's like, we got one last heist.
Joaquin Marcelo, Mike Gittleson, Tommy Carruthers, Tim Tackett, Chris Kent, Cass Magda.
Holy smokes! This is funny. These names are populating in the comments too. I see Cass Magna in the comments, Joaquin Marcelo in the comments,
right?
Chris Kent in the comments.
But now let me ask you this, right? Being a fan of a lot of alliteration, could I call them the JKD jackhammers?
The JKD jackhammers.
I got a better one. The JKD juggernauts.
Okay. You can. I don't know. I don't like those names. Keep thinking. Keep thinking.
You know what? You know what?
Hey, I mean, I'm not a yes man here.
You know what? Later for you. Okay, right? How dare you? How dare you obstruct me? Huh?
The JKD jackhammers? Come on, bro.
Listen to me. When you come on my show, you cannot disagree with me.
Okay. Well,
everything I say is supposed to rule.
Oh, I forgot the rules.
Okay.
The JKD jackhammers. Sounds like a lacrosse team or something.
Shut up. Okay. Burt Richardson. But see, I'm doing this without. So in case you guys have not realized this is not something that GN and I sat down and planned. So I'm calling names. I'm not literally. I'm figuratively pulling these names out of the back of my head right now. But people in the know will realize that the first three people that I mentioned are not Dan and Asano students. You see? Because
well, Dan
my
DeSanto
list
isn't even on that list. So
well, because I'm saving him for the list, right?
Okay.
My list of JKD Avengers would not be partisan, right? It wouldn't be, oh well, it can only be Inasano people like me. No, it's the people that I have. Ooh, somebody said the JKD Justice Gang.
Ooh, the JKD Justice
No,
League.
no.
Jackhammer. No,
Jackhammers, man. I'm done
Justice,
with you.
the JKD.
Right.
There's got to be a better J word. Anyway, I like justice.
I'll work on it.
We'll figure it out.
I'll work on it. Right.
Imagine there's an artist out there who's taking notes and is already imagining a beautiful piece of artwork with all these people and like a poster.
I saw that. I've seen that happen on a couple of the podcasts that I follow. Like they happen to talk about it, and like the next day, the listeners had produced artwork based on the idea of what these people had spoken about, right? So so I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, the more time you give me, the more time, the more time. And I apologize if I missed that, because when we hang up, I'll probably go, holy crap!
I can't believe I didn't mention.
Why didn't you? How could you not mention?
Right.
You know, so and so, right? So like as I'm saying this and trying to give myself time, right? So I didn't say Kevin Seaman. I didn't say Bo Jackson. I didn't say right. See, because now there's so many people. There are so many good JKD people out there, right? Like I'm trying to remember. And like I gave you people from the Ted Wong lineage because I spend a lot of time arguing with Ted Wong type people, right? So those guys are on my mind, right? But not Joaquin Marcelo.
Look at these names.
Now I can't remember his name, but it's a guy from the West Coast who spent time. He's Jerry Poteet certified, and then there's the guy Joel from Evolution Winnipeg, right? And these people, I mentioned them. Some of them I have never met physically. Some of them, right? But my interactions with them, whatever nature of the interaction, I can tell how intelligent they are.
So let's talk about the first three that you chose.
Okay.
And I want you to name their superpower. Their superpower.
Well,
did you pick them for their intelligence? Did you pick them for their experience? Did you pick them for their ability to teach?
Okay, so Joaquin Marcelo, right? Joaquin Marcelo is the author of the book Jeet Kune Simplicity, right? And it is one of the best books on Jeet Kune ever, right?
What makes it so? Briefly, what makes it one of the best?
Well, it's 300 something pages of full color, so it's glossy and slick. It's well produced, but the material in it is impeccable, right? And he and it's not limited to only what Bruce Lee did, only what Joaquin got from Ted Wong. It pays attention to what would be needed, right? What would be needed today, the Jeet Kune response to self-defense of today. And that's one of the things that I like most about the book. So, but I'm somewhat at a loss as to, you know, to say what their superpower is. Mike Gittleson is a very. Have you ever seen the Bruce Lee documentary where there's a little kid outside of the cinema And he says, and they're talking about what they asked the little kid, what do you like about Bruce Lee? And the kid says, he's a very good mover, right? Mike Gittleson is a very good mover, right?
Huh.
And he is JKD Colorado. Another very good mover is Tommy Carruthers. Tommy Carruthers, I mean, you know.
Who in your list would you think most people would, or some people might say is surprising to be on your list? It's surprising.
On my list?
Yeah, on your list. Is there anyone there that it's like surprised? I'm surprised that Seafood White put him in there.
Nope. Not on my list. Nope.
No.
Nope. Geez, I'm
You're still thinking about names, aren't you?
Yeah, because I feel bad that I can't remember this guy's name.
West Coast guy from Colorado.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyhow, yeah, he and I met at the 35th anniversary thing in Seattle. And you know where you would know him from? He appears in what's the guy on the YouTube, the Chinese guy on the YouTube that had a whole series, the internet marketer guy that had a whole series on Jeet Kune. Dan Locke.
Okay.
Dan Locke, right? So he appeared in Dan Locke's series on the YouTube. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. I'm gonna go through my thing here.
Well, I'm gonna talk and just read.
You know what? You know what? So I have. Can you do a screen share? I have never tried to do a screen share.
Oh, you can do it.
And be live. Because what I'm looking at here is what did you just push?
Okay, so on the top left,
over there on screen,
left, see, it's a screen. Click that, and then
look
look
at how you are schooling me on my bloody software.
I'm kind of I'm a JKD Sifu online, so.
Oh, so you know what? So since I have never done that, I don't even have it set up on my machine. So
okay,
but that's okay. No. So listen to this, right? Okay. I'll just read names. Now you'll be like, damn. Okay. Bill Seng, Blaze Loong, Bob Carver, Bob Dubajin, Bob Egerbrecht, Brenda King, Brian Fay, Cass Magda, Chad Stahelski, Charles Chai, Chris Brown, Clay Johnson, Cookie Vasilu, Craig Stanton, Dale Frank, Damon Carroll, Dan Inasano, Dane Junod, Daniel O'Hara, Daniel Sullivan, Darren Severs, David Hines, Dennis Blue, Dickie Harrell, Don Garin, Drake Ritchie, Dwight Wakabayashi, Eric Boucher, Eric Charles, Eric Smith, Fran Joseph, Francis Fong, Frank Cucci, Freddie Jin, George Fitzgerald, George Johnston, Jack Matt Vickers, James Hunden, Jason Hawkins, Jason Winkle, JB Jager, Jeff Imada, Jeff Jones, Jeremy Lynch, Jesus Santiago, Joaquin Almeria, Joe Craig, Joe Purcell, Joel Clark, John Daniels, John Maidman, John Rister, Julian, I don't know Julian's last name, Cade Marsh, Keith Allen passed away, unfortunately, Kelly Warden, Lauren Marie Kim, Lavon Martin, Lauren Bookbinder, Mark Mafan, Mark DeCascos, Mateo de los Reyes, Michael Zapla, I already said Mike Gilson, Mike Krivka, Mike Rutter, Nathan Maramone, Nick Palma, Nick Sakulis, Nino Pila, the New Breed team, Pat O'Malley, Patrick Chan, Patrick Strong, Patrick Trey, Paul Bax, Paul Lewis, Philip Jelinas, Ralph Mitchell, Rich Citrone, Robert Kerbo, Rodney Hitchcock, Roger Lurie, Ryan Teal, who's coming up, S. Kai Lee, Scott Hand, Steve Braun, Steve Golden, Steve Russell, Terry Tom, Terry Barnett, Todd Garrison, Tom Jones, Tommy Gong, Tsuyoshi Abe, Victor Young, Vincent Giordano, Yuri Nakamura, Johnny Williams.
Wow.
What that is, right?
What that is, my homeboy from The Dog
From everything
Brothers
is
and
from-
Pikiti Tersha. Cool. Hey,
Right. So
interesting
here's
list.
right. So what that is the Jeet Kune Dialogues folder. Those are people that I would love to, at some point, hope to get on my show.
Okay.
I have already made the list.
Wow. Hey, so I'm gonna ask a question and deal with this how you may. I keep seeing. I saw on several posts.
Quintero, Octavio Quintero. Thank you, Norman. Thanks, Russell.
There you
Thanks.
go.
Is that Al? I can't tell if that's Al or AI.
Yeah.
Octavio Quintero.
Okay. Paul Vunak. Not on the list.
Didn't I say Paul?
No.
Oh, see, that's where I get myself in trouble. You see,
Okay.
that's
All
where I
right.
get myself in trouble.
Yeah, there's Tim Tackett, Chris Kent. This is incredible. I don't know most of these people, and this is.
Well, I mean, how much time have you spent in Jeet Kune, man?
Well, all my life, sir. All my life.
Okay, there you go.
All my life. Hey, what does tangent?
Huh?
What does this mean?
So my
Is this how
so-
you guys say what's up? Hey, what's up, man? Sir?
no, not really. No.
What is
No,
what is
we
this?
say what's up. Like we say what's. I don't know how y'all do it in Canada, but
Yeah.
that's how we say what's up. Not me. I hate that.
Okay.
Right. So my understanding is this represents the warrior. This represents the scholar. So the true Kung Fu man is both a warrior and a scholar.
Okay.
Right.
I heard
that's
sun, moon, and it's like no. So warrior, scholar.
I don't know about that.
Like this,
I don't
right?
know about that.
Oh.
Yeah, right. But it is also a Chinese custom, right? But I think the martial art designation of it is warrior and scholar.
Got it.
But Chinese people will do that. So you know where you'll see it. What's the Golden Child? Remember that Eddie Murphy movie,
No.
The Golden Child?
No.
Right? Okay, that's because you were born in the 80s. That's your problem. That's
1980.
your problem. That's your problem right there.
I know.
You see,
I know.
right? That's why you know who Nick Fury is
Wow.
and Avenger this and Avenger that and all that nonsense, but you don't know Eddie Murphy, Golden Child.
Wow.
That's the problem with all you people. Anyhow,
Hey.
there's a scene in there where he walks into the Chinese store and they're like, "Gin lai," right? So it's a Chinese thing.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, this reminds me, right? Oh, man, I'm just like all over the place. I just have so many questions. I was thinking about sparring, and then what randomly popped up in my head is this idea of cultural appropriation. About to what degree can JKD practitioners wear traditional, for example, Chinese garb and speak these terms with the appropriate accent? And is this uncomfortable? Is this okay for me to ask? Like, where's your opinion lie? Because this is something that happens in the Filipino martial arts communities that I am part of. This very uncomfortable conversation about cultural appropriation. Like, if you do not belong to the Chinese culture, to what degree can you wear, those cool kung fu outfits and all this? And yeah, I speak freely, right? So
okay. Can you okay?
you make me Google
Do
something.
you have access? Do you have access to the YouTube right now?
I do.
Okay. Do a search. Do a search for.
Can everyone else do that too, or just me? All the viewers?
No,
can
just you, and then I'll have you share it, right?
Okay.
Because your
Okay.
screen is set up for sharing, mine isn't, right?
Okay.
So do a search on the YouTube for oh shit. Now I forget. Now I forget what it is. Wait. I'll. Okay. I'll look it up here and
Chinese greeting
Tell you.
courtesy in Wushu known as the Bao Quan Li.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay. All right. So look up Kobe, right? Kobe,
Kobe, yeah.
Kobe 100, 100, the
Yeah.
number,
Mm-hmm.
PAN, PAN, project, PROJECT. Look that up on the YouTube.
Kobe 100 Pan Project. Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. And there's a picture of 3 Asian ladies in the thumbnail. Is that
Can
it?
you play that and share it to the group,
Sure.
to the screen?
Let me hit the screen share and let me go to Grave tab. And here it is. Can you see that? I'm not playing it. Should I play it now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do we get bumped off of the YouTube if we do that?
I don't know.
Oh, we'll see.
Your screen is now presented in broadcast.
Yeah.
There it is. So now you can control to what degree. Okay, so should I just
Yeah.
play it? It's an 8-minute
Yeah.
video, brother. Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you know
Whoa.
what that is? Do you know what that is?
That's cultural appropriation. No,
That's
I'm just
cultural
joking.
appropriation. You
All
understand?
right.
So let
Okay.
us ignore, right? Let us ignore the fact that if you can't see that is a bunch of Japanese people playing Trinidadian steel pan, right? And all you do is listen to the music.
Yeah.
Your ass is jumping.
Right. Some people
see?
are commenting. They're dancing.
You see,
yeah.
your ass is jumping because it don't make no goddamn difference, right? Who's playing it, right? So this idea that, oh, well, no, give me a goddamn break, please.
Are you
right?
saying it can't exist, or that it
Cultural appropriation
in martial arts can it exist?
Cultural appropriation don't look. The Japanese people have been in love with Bob Marley since the 1970s.
I used to live in Tokyo.
Okay.
Even the dance hall.
Right. Right.
Yes.
So it is only the wokest of social justice warrior type, right, that will talk about. It is cultural appreciation. Give me a goddamn break. Because if it was right, if it was cultural, Nico Cavallino is of Italian extraction. How dare he study French savate? How dare he? Right? He can. As a matter of fact, if you're Nico Cavallino and you're of Italian extraction, guess what kind of food you're limited to? Italian food only. You see how stupid that is?
I do.
Right? Do you know who Alex Richter is, the Kung Fu genius? Do you know him?
I do not, sir. I do not.
I love that guy. He's a Wing Chun guy, right? I love that guy because he has almost perfect Chinese pronunciation. Right? Richter, I think so here it is. So he's from New York. Richter, I think, is a German name, right? But I think he was born in Miami or in Florida or what have you, right? But I love to hear that guy when he speaks Chinese. Oh my God, right? He's got a Chinese wife. He lives part of the year or something in Hong Kong or what have you. I mean, he's the bomb, right? Who said? Somebody just said that right? Yeah, Ty says Alex is the bomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
His pronunciation is okay.
Right. Okay, but see, now as a black boy, I wouldn't know that his pronunciation is okay for a white boy.
Oh, I love it. I love this conversation. I really enjoy this kind of a conversation. Yeah, but there is a nuance to this, I suppose. But I think people are just taken aback by the nonsensical manifestation and allegations of cultural appropriation. That it is rather
Yeah.
silly, isn't it? It is rather silly
Yeah,
to think that way.
it is, right? It is, because look, all I I'll put it this way.
Mhm.
People can exist in more than one world, right? Because you could be born in Trinidad, grow up in Barbados, move to Miami. Those are three different worlds, so to
Mhm.
speak,
Mhm.
right? All three of them make up my life to a certain degree. That's just humanity. So the idea that people are supposed to limit themselves in some shape or form, that's bogus. That is so bogus. You know, one of the internet marketers that I follow, he just moved to Cancun. He and his wife, I just found that out yesterday, right? Now, Craig is originally from Canada. When I met him 15 years ago, he was still living in Canada, right? Then he started to work for an outfit that is headquartered in Delray Beach, Florida. So I think he moved to Florida for a while, and now he's decided to export himself to Mexico. So I mean, there's when Bruce Lee said having no limitation as limitation, because so that's in the characters for the Jeet Kune symbol. I, for one, do not ever believe that Bruce Lee was talking about martial art only. I think that Bruce Lee very, very often simultaneously talked about martial art and life. You know, when he says in the Pierre Berton interview that everything that he has become up to that point is pretty much out of martial art. That's what he's saying. The human being, Bruce Lee, everything that everything that I am as a human being came out of martial art.
Hmm.
Right? I don't think that Bruce Lee ever separated the two. So similarly,
Right.
you do not separate the art and the philosophy. You do not separate the product and the process. You see? So I like to say all the time, well, not all the time, but when it comes to, I said this today on Facebook, you cannot be smart in Jeet Kune and ignore the inherent duality of the nature of the art.
Oh, hold on. You cannot. So can you say that again, sir?
You can't be smart in Jeet Kune and ignore the inherent duality of the nature of the art.
What is the inherent duality?
Okay.
Good, evil, physical,
well, first of all,
metaphysical.
okay, right? So remember, I told you the book that Bruce Lee wrote is called The Philosophical Art of Self-Defense, right? Chinese Kung Fu, right? So a lot of that book talks about the influence of yin yang, a lot about the influence of the Tao, the Chinese way, right? There's a story about they asked Bruce Lee, what is the difference between hard style Kung Fu and soft style Kung Fu? And Bruce Lee said the difference is not two, right? As in hard, separated, and different from soft. Bruce Lee said it's like an arrow wrapped in cotton, right?
I have thoughts, but please continue.
Okay, or it's like a steel ball, which is let's call that rigid, a steel ball attached to a steel chain. So one's rigid, one's flexible. That's
Okay.
what I mean by the inherent duality of the art. You see, because if the art preaches totality, there's no way that totality is singular. It can't be.
But JKD, as a service to the individual, ought to serve that individual's needs, training goals, and priorities. I'll give you an example. If somebody walked into a JKD Academy looking for self-defense solutions today,
Yeah.
the duality of Jeet Kune would therefore necessitate a long path that includes items that may not be relevant or appropriate for the urgency of that individual's need. Right?
Not true.
So
Where'd you
So-
get that from?
the duality meaning there's a short path and a long path. If I'm looking for self-defense because I have to go to a dangerous part of town every day, or would you as a seafood tell me, well, if you want self-defense, this is a lifelong pursuit?
No,
No, you would.
because that's not true.
Okay. There's a lot of Jeet Kune people who, and this is no indictment of Jeet Kune specifically, but a lot of martial artists propose their art to be, to have self-defense validity, but propose a martial arts path to get there. So the martial arts path is long, it is winding, it is there's a totality to it. But a self-defense need is immediate, it is urgent, it is, we needed this yesterday.
Yes.
And so how do you consolidate the two when a woman or a man who needs self-defense solutions today?
Yeah.
Today, they need it today. They needed it last week. They're coming here reactionarily. And now, would you propose the inherent duality of Jeet Kune Do as a self-defense solution? And the question goes for all of you out there, and I think it's important.
Hey, man, you interviewing everybody, or you interviewing me?
I'm interviewing you.
No, you're interviewing everybody.
But you represent the people, that's why.
You're interviewing everybody, right? Okay, listen.
Mhm.
Listen, here's the thing, right? That it would depend on how you have set up your school. If your school is set up only as long path martial arts, right? And you do not offer, and you know in your heart of hearts, you do not offer immediate yesterday self-defense ability, you should not accept that person. You
now,
should
we talked
send
about
that,
earlier. We talked earlier about concessions and compromises.
compromise. Yes.
For the sake of business. This would
Yes.
require a integrity, deep-seated, deep-rooted integrity for a Jeet Kune Do instructor to say, no, I am not that person.
Right.
I'm not that person. Go there. This is
Yes.
the long path.
Yes. Right. Now, if you're smart, you offer both.
Mm-hmm.
You have more than one track in your school. You see? So, or even if you don't have both, you, from time to time, you offer self-defense courses. Let's call them quick skill self-defense courses.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So you have Lil Dragon's Jeet Kune Do, you have Junior Jeet Kune Do, you have JKD Fitness Kickboxing, you have Jeet Kune Do classes, you have periodic quick skill self-defense courses.
And what might that look like? What does the Jeet Kune Do that is like a hypodermic needle straight into the vein look like? What would you focus on? How would that look? If Jeet Kune Do can be self-defense, it needs to be like in this hypodermic needle. And it ought to be able to teach functional, retainable concepts in a weekend course, right?
Well,
it ought to be able to
again,
do that, shouldn't it?
I'm not a fan of, okay, if you limit me to a weekend, right?
Yes.
So I got time with people on a stay.
Oh no, you're breaking up.
It is not my formula.
Sir, can you say that again? If you were to
okay, here's my formula for if I got a few hours on Saturday and Sunday with you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It is not my original formula. I get it from my Jeet Kune Do senior, Paul Vunak. It is called ETGS, right? ETGS stands both for escape to gain safety, and eyes, throat, groin, shin, and knee. So the philosophy is this: you're not gonna stay in there and mix it up with somebody, right? Chip and I. So Chip, I'm doing that, Glenn. So Chip, last Friday, we were in Inverness, Central Florida, with Chip. Me, Glenn, and some of the others. Chip was my first Miami student in 1986, and we went to observe a self-defense workshop given by a well-known karate guy who had been featured on the news and what have you. So it was at an aerobic studio. That'll tell you how long ago it was. You know what an aerobic studio is? Right? Yeah, right? Okay. So let's say it's supposed to start at 12 noon, right? The cat shows up like at 12:30, but he's the big bad karate man, right? So they show up, and it's like, introduce, whatever. It's a self-defense workshop. They proceed, he and his team proceed to go into the bathroom. I'm like, all right, maybe they're going to wash their hands, wash their face or something. No. They come back out in the karate gis. I'm like, oh, it's going to be that kind of self-defense. Okay, cool. Right?
Attack me like this.
Yeah. Right? Okay. I'm like, all right, look, if that's what they train in, that's what they train in. All right. So now they start to do the warm-up. I was not aware that you get to warm up before you get to self-defend. But whatever, it's a physical activity. You don't want nobody, pulling a hamstring or whatever.
Sure.
So they proceed to warm up. I'm all right, I'm good with that. Then they got into the horse stance and proceeded to ha.
Okay.
And that's when, but wait, it gets better. So it wasn't enough to be counting out the punches. Mr. Expert Self-Defense Teacher then says, now you got to learn to count in Japanese.
Wow.
Yeah.
So already you're accounting for these cues and you're going.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So now dig this. Right.
Oh, damn.
So you see this?
Yeah.
Right. This is both my Jeet Kune uniform and my go to Publix supermarket or go to the movies when I hang out with you. Nobody's going to look at me and go, oh, Kung Fu. Or, I mean, they might because it's a Bruce Lee thing, right?
Right.
But whatever, right? But what I'm saying is that in Jeet Kune, we don't have to put on the Superman outfit, the Marvel Superman outfit, right? To bring out the superpowers, right? We don't have to do the Clark Kent thing, right?
Well,
so in other words, right? So whatever.
Okay. So the self-defense path from the JKD perspective can serve the individual. It could be rapid, it could be quick, it could be done in a weekend course. I imagine it can also be contained in the long path of the traditional JKD path. It's embedded in there, obviously, self-defense.
Yeah, because the more time you spend, hopefully, the more you learn, the better you get at it.
Right. So
what I'm saying is that if you're real Jeet Kune, you have to be able to format or formulate what you are teaching based on what it is that the people came to you for.
I love that. And that is truth, right? That is truth in that
Well, yeah.
JKD can serve the individual. It can serve the masses. It can. It's modifiable. It's like something about
Yeah.
water. Some quote about water.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But see, but we mentioned this earlier, and I was gonna tell you because it might have been something we talked about the last time too, and this has to do again with compromise and concession.
Mm-hmm.
So I always used to wonder why at my school, so back in the day, 300 active students was like the magic number that everybody tried to at least get to, right?
Right.
I think the closest I ever got to that was like 275. I never broke the 300 mark. And I always used to wonder, the self-doubt thing, am I not good enough? Do my JKD colleagues who have gone past that, do they have something that I don't have or whatever. When I did the analysis, I realized certain things. And this is not a condemnation of anybody who does this, right? What I did not do, I never had kids' birthday parties, and I never had a kids program with belts.
Right.
I did have a kids program, but my kids program, the only people that used belts were the Little Dragons. And I think I told you this last time. That's ages 4, 5, and 6. And the Little Dragons, it was literally a package. You had the manual and you had the uniforms pre-made for you by Century Martial Arts and Ernie Reyes Sr., bless his heart.
So what is now there because of the pandemic and just the very nature of martial arts as a business, I heard a statistic that said something like there are 8,000 martial arts businesses that go bankrupt every year in the United States. Right? So there's a lot of heartache when one tries to blend a passion with a business often, and perhaps more so in martial arts than in any other industry. What is, for anyone out there listening who may have 275 students who wish they had 300, or who may have 5 who wish they had 15, or needs 5 more students to break even, what is, in your opinion, and again, I ask this of the community, what is the true metric of success for a Sifu in Jeet Kune?
There is no one true metric. You see, we can't say that success is this one thing specifically. We can't say that because it's all individual people.
Well, let's broaden it out to a principle then.
Okay.
Or broadly, but perhaps universally.
Okay. So I could give you the total gross breakdown, right? And I'll tell you the parts that I remember from the top of my head. You want to be at a point where 15% of your gross goes towards rent or mortgage on the building. 35% goes to staff. 5% goes to 5% goes to owners profit. I can't remember the specifics, right? But that's an actual metric, right?
What about philosophically?
And what is success for a Jeet Kune instructor?
For a Sifu in Jeet Kune?
Whatever he or she considers it to be. Because remember, I think I have this right. The etymological root of the word success is from the Latin succedere, which means to happen. So, and perhaps an archaic definition of success is that which occurs. Whatever happens is a success. Right? So, on an individual level, if success to me means something as simple as, if financial success to me means this, anything I want to do, I have the money to do it. Okay? Because I cannot live completely esoterically, because even, what's the name of the book? Even monks have to pay bills. Is that, I forget the name of it.
I don't know, but I like the way that sounds.
Right? It's something like that, right? See, so I would have had to work out something that generates that level of earnings in order to be comfortable, in order to not wake up in the morning and be all worried about whatever. So you have to be, so if you're going to do, if you're going to be a JKD professional and not a JKD hobbyist, then you have to treat it like a business. You can't go into business and treat it like a hobby. You must make that differentiation. So you should study business if you're going to open up a Jeet Kune school, because it's not as simple as this. It's not the field of dreams cliche, build it and they will come, right? It's also not the Marianne Williamson, I'm kidding, I don't know if she says this, but it's not the Marianne, but happy thought, do what you love and the money will come. It has to be a blend of those two. You do what you love in an environment full of potential for money, and the money will come.
When, let me think about this, because again, going back to the very first thing we talked about, I like that how this is all going into this cycle about compromise and concession and business and passion and authenticity. To what degree should JKD practitioners be keeping each other in check?
Whoa, what do you mean by that?
Well, let's say I'm Sifu in Jeet Kune and I decide to adopt the karate or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belt system. What would the JKD community have to say about that?
People who would say, oh, fine. People who would be like,
I'm sorry, you're freezing up.
Okay.
The question generally is that to what degree should the JKD community be self-regulating and all up in each other's business? Oh no, it's frozen. I think that's a good question.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
am I back yet?
oh, you're back. I
Hold on.
I can hear you.
Right?
Yeah.
About getting in other people's business. It's not your business, it's their business. Leave them alone. Let them do what they want to do. If they call you to ask you for your advice, right? Give them your point of view. Okay? But it's their business. It's not your business. Because remember this, there is no central organizing Jeet Kune body, right? That lays out the rules for Jeet Kune worldwide. Now, if I built a Dwight Woods organization called Jeet Kune Worldwide, and the members of Jeet Kune Worldwide are people who follow me and my way of doing things.
Sure,
okay?
that's different. Yeah, that's different. That's
right.
monitoring a standard within your circle.
Yes,
I get that.
right. So if you belong to someone's formal or informal Jeet Kune organization, then maybe if you color outside the lines, maybe they have the wherewithal to draw you back in. But for me,
but beyond that, that's the border for you. There isn't
there's
no community regulation. There's no, oh, you're making Jeet Kune look bad. Stop doing that.
Well, of course there's that, but who cares, right? Who cares?
Right. I know who cares, but you know.
Right, exactly. Right?
Know.
No, look, it's his business. Do whatever it is that he wants. Right? If somebody asks me my opinion on it, and it's in it's a forum where I feel like I can give my honest opinion, right? I might say, okay, well, I don't agree with how he does that. Right. But so what? It's like you asked the other day about surpassing your instructors.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, I am definitely a better businessman than Dan Inosanto. But that doesn't matter because he doesn't do business the way I do business.
Right.
But if you were to look at the way business is conducted, right? Anybody would be able to identify that the way I ran my school was a better business operation than the way the Inosanto Academy is run. But so what? It doesn't matter.
So how a business is run is independent from the quality or lack thereof in an organization.
Wait, how a business is run is independent from the quality or lack thereof? No.
Yeah, of teaching.
No, because a badly run business, right? The effects of that are not going to be independent at all. No.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's very dependent.
Right.
It's very dependent. See, this is the thing, right? See, you can't say, okay, well, I'm certified to teach Jeet Kune by Dan Inosanto, Bruce Lee's premier disciple. I have opened up a school. That's it. Hell no. Because my name is not Dan Inosanto. You see, my name is Dwight Woods. My name is not Bruce Lee. Right? So I could hang as many pictures of Dan Inosanto and or Bruce Lee as I want in my school. That is no guarantee that anybody is going to step through the door. And if somebody does step through the door, and I say, okay, and look, you ever heard of this? Unique sales position or unique sales proposition?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Or selling point.
So,
unique selling point.
Unique selling point, right? So if somebody walks in to my school and says, why should I do business with you as a Jeet Kune instructor? And I say, oh, well, because I have these pictures of Dan Inosanto and Bruce Lee in my school. As we say in Jamaican vernacular, that na make it.
That na make it. Oh, man. I don't want to be accused of cultural appropriation.
I know, right?
Sorry about that, you guys.
You see? So I have to have more, I have to be more substantial than that. If I have opened up a business, I should have a very good answer to that question. Right. Because that is a central tenet towards doing good business.
But it's also true that a good businessman can be a terrible Jeet Kune instructor and still have a successful Jeet Kune business. That's possible.
You mean, is it possible? Is it possible to have a good business?
A good
martial art
businessman who's a mediocre martial artist can still run a successful martial arts business.
Yes, that is possible.
That is possible.
Yes, that is possible.
Of course, that's possible. Yeah, of course, that's possible.
Yeah, but that's not particular to the martial art industry only.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You see? So in some ways, business is business, no matter what the industry.
Given that the to a large degree the front line of business in martial arts these days has to do with the efficient navigation of the social landscape, right? To know how to use a TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Do you feel compelled to learn these crafts? Should Jeet Kune instructors take more accountability over these emerging social platforms in their presentation of Jeet Kune? You think that's, how important is that?
Well, what's the end goal?
To
Right.
grow the business and to represent your Jeet Kune.
So Glenn gets on my case all the time.
What's up, Glenn? I feel you, man.
Right? I don't do enough
Right.
social media by Glenn's standards.
Mm-hmm.
But Glenn wasn't born when I was born, which is when the dirt was invented. Right? So, so we don't necessarily look at it and say, now, is he right?
I think so.
100%.
I think Glenn's right.
He is 100% right. My ass should be all over every single social media outlet that there is.
Okay, I think that answers my question.
Okay.
But there's a but, right? Why, if
No.
you should, then why aren't you? What's the excuse? And is it an excuse? What's going on?
Well, I could say the reason is that I don't have enough time. But then Glenn will go, that's not a reason, that's an excuse.
Right. Here you are
see?
talking.
So
talking
what do
to
I
me
so
right
what right. So what right. So what do I have to I just have to develop and exercise infinitely more discipline than I already do. But think about it, right? I'm to a certain degree ahead of the game, because how many Jeet Kune podcasts are there in the world?
I think maybe yours and Ron Balicki's are the only two that I know of.
Right. Okay. Right. So,
yeah, true.
Okay. So that puts me and Ron ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But as Dan Kennedy teaches, you don't sit back on your laurels and go, oh, well, I'm ahead of the game. Hell no. Because there's always somebody looking to catch up.
That's right.
Right. So remember the saying, we innovate faster than they can imitate.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Love that.
So so you got to be doing stuff. You got to be doing stuff. So I need to, Glenn was very happy the other day. I actually did put something up on the YouTube. I think I put it up on the YouTube before I put it on Facebook. Hey, he was ecstatic.
I'm going to give you a piece of unsolicited advice. You don't need to say the before YouTube. It's like I put it up on the YouTubes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. You know what I love.
What do you know?
You know, I've nothing really. That's the true answer. I don't know anything. This is pretty cool. And what more do you want from Jeet Kune?
What more does who want?
You.
What more?
Yeah,
see,
what would you like it to do for you? It's a strange question, right?
That is a very strange question, because I had this discussion with Richard Torres just the other day, right? And it is something that is central to my teaching. Jeet Kune, at a stage of your participation in it, at a stage of your development in Jeet Kune, it can be something that you're learning, practicing, doing, like you're taking classes. That kind of conventional speech, that kind of conventional wisdom can apply. Mm-hmm. At the highest levels, Jeet Kune is something you become. You are Jeet Kune. You see? So you and the art are not separate. So here's what happened. Richard Torres was saying, that it was something about Jeet Kune as a marketing tool, right? How I think it was something like, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was something like, there are people who use the name Jeet Kune to market themselves,
Yeah.
right? And I think his insinuation was that but they're not real Jeet Kune or true Jeet Kune or whatever. So I said, that's interesting because my teacher's school is called the Inasano Academy. My school is called Unified Martial Art, right? His school is called Jeet Kune Martial Arts Institute. So who's using the Jeet Kune name? I'm not using it in the name of my school, and Dan Inasano is not using it in the name of his school, but he does, right? So check this. I wrote that to him. He replies to me, oh, what martial arts are you trying to unite? I said,
Oh, okay. Not a
yeah,
bad
see,
question.
so you just made the same mistake. I wrote, the name of my school is Unified Martial Art. He said to me, what arts are you trying to unite?
Well, there's a tense there. Like you have united them.
It's not, no,
Okay.
it's not tense at all.
Okay.
You know, you and I,
lead me, sir.
yes, you and
Lead
I
me
had the forsook problem the last time.
Forsook,
right?
yes.
Okay. All right. Do you remember the Elian Gonzalez thing? The little Cuban kid whose
briefly.
mom died on the raft, and there was the whole thing. And people would talk about the reunification or the unification of the family. Families do not unify. Families unite, right? It is the United Nations. It is not the unified nations. There are two different verbs, unify and unite. Unite means a bunch of us get together and we hang out. We are a united group. Unify means to become one. My school is named Unified Martial Art because the purpose of the school, our approach, is that ultimately we become Jeet Kune. There is no separation between the human individual and the art of Jeet Kune. We are Jeet Kune. We have therefore become one.
I appreciate this answer, which began with me asking, what more can Jeet Kune do for you? So are we leading into this path where it's like, ask not what Jeet Kune, what you can do for Jeet Kune? Yeah. Ask not what you can do for your kind, right? So let me get this out. Are you in service? Has Jeet Kune given you everything that you've wanted from it, and now you are in service of Jeet Kune? You're looking for what you can contribute to it versus what it can contribute to you.
Yeah, you see, you would have to think. You would have to be thinking in terms of separation. You see, and when it comes to Jeet Kune, I do not think in terms of separation. Like there's Jeet Kune, this entity. It's like I told you, I don't have to go put on my special Jeet Kune clothes in order to train.
Right.
Right. Even if I was wearing the school T-shirt with the school logo that says Unified Martial Art Academy, I could still go to the supermarket. I could still go to the movies dressed like that because it's a T-shirt and pants. Now, if I went to the supermarket in my karate gi or my Brazilian jiu-jitsu gi or my kung fu frog button with the white sleeves rolled back thing, somebody would go, hey, it ain't Halloween yet. You see? But this,
right,
as is.
Was there a business consideration when you decided to call it, Unified Martial Art? So here's what I'm getting at, right? There are some martial arts today that have higher marketability value and recognizability than others, right? You can put
Yes.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in a sign and people are like, hey, I've always wanted to take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
Right? At one point, it was karate. At one point, it was taekwondo, Muay Thai to a degree, boxing, certainly. For a period of time, Krav Maga was really like, oh, we're going to put Krav Maga in our signage. So my question to you is, and to the community of Jeet Kune Do,
You had to have been born in 1980. You forgot Kung Fu.
Kung Fu, Kung Fu, of course.
Yeah.
On the
You
dot.
put the Kung Fu. You
on
put the Kung
1980.
Fu sign. You put the Kung Fu sign under the karate sign. Bang.
Boom.
Enrollment doubled.
Instant enrollment. Okay, so I think this is an important question, and again, I ask you and I ask the community: you think Jeet Kune Do, the name on a sign, you think it has lost or gained marketability value, recognition? It's gone down.
It was never up.
It was never up.
Never up. It's never been up.
It seems to me JKD is a huge, massive community. I feel like there's a lot of Jeet Kune Do people. No, am I in a bubble?
Yes.
Am I in a vacuum?
Yes. There's a ton of Jeet Kune Do people. Jeet Kune Do is probably one of the biggest unorganized organizations, martial art organizations. Probably one of the biggest martial art families out there, but also the most what's the adjective? Dysfunctional.
Fragmented?
Dysfunctional and fragmented families. Right?
Wow.
And because
this is crazy. This is like Because of
Bruce
Lee. Everybody knows Bruce Lee.
But Glenn and I, when is the last time? When was it? Was it Tuesday night? Tuesday night we ran the experiment on the cute little girl at the sushi restaurant. Right? Because she came over to the table and she says, oh, good to see you guys again. Because we're over there like once a month, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, good to see you guys again. You just came from BJJ practice.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Right? So somehow it went through the grapevine at the sushi restaurant that we are BJJ people. Now, whoever it is that said that, what he meant is that, those are the martial arts guys.
Right, yeah.
You see? But what do people know? So we conduct this experiment all the time, right? So we say to them, okay, have you ever heard of Jeet Kune Do? Invariably, no. Okay.
That is insane.
Have you ever heard of Bruce Lee?
Yes.
Hello? What do you think I am? Stupid? Everybody's heard of Bruce Lee.
Right?
Yes.
Why?
And that is the reality, GN. That is the reality. Look, when you and I met years ago at that Thai restaurant.
Yeah.
Right? If we went out into instead of the back room, we went out into the main restaurant, mm-hmm. and we took a poll of the people there, and we asked them, how many of you know what Jeet Kune Do is? Nobody. How many of you know who Bruce Lee is? Oh, everybody. Everybody.
Well, something
went wrong, right?
Something went wrong. Jeet Kune Do ought to be the biggest, organized, most well-respected martial art in the entire world, just by virtue of its association and by virtue of its creator. This disconnect is...
Hang on, though. What did the creator himself say?
He said, don't fuss over it.
Well, he said, don't fuss over the name, right? That's one thing he said. He also said, Jeet Kune Do is not an organization that one can be a member of.
Yeah.
Right? And therefore...
Wow, though. But still...
But Jen, but still for me and you who have survived Bruce Lee. If Bruce Lee had lived, I'm fairly sure that there would never have been any need for marketing of Jeet Kune Do. Because things would have evolved differently. Right. And so the name of the art, the name of the founder would probably have been on the same level. What happened because of his accidental death and his posthumous elevation to superstardom, is that the name of the founder went like this. The name of the art, however, only went like this amongst the martial art, in the martial art world, amongst the seekers, the people who sought after what he taught. But more people in the world did not seek after anything. They just heard about this celebrity guy.
Arguably,
That's what accounts for the disparity.
well, the thing is, it's arguable that Bruce Lee is as popular today as he ever was, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so
Yeah.
this wasn't a single event of detachment between the founder and the art that he founded. I feel like there is still so much that the entire Jeet Kune Do community can actually do to bridge the gap and to promote the name Jeet Kune Do to the point where it is as recognizable as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as recognizable as Muay Thai, as Karate. We're not there today, and
No.
to a, for me, pardon this, but isn't it a little bit disappointing? Isn't it disappointing for Jeet Kune Do practitioners and students and sifus to live under this reality?
Yeah, it's disappointing for
It's
many.
heartbreaking.
It's disappointing for many, many of us, right? But I could tell you, I could give you my opinion as to why it evolved the way it evolved,
Please.
right? Okay, if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this going to be a story
It's
of blame or accountability? What is this story going to be about?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, right? The higher ups. Okay, no, let me put it to you this way. Here's what Bruce Lee said: close the schools and take the dedicated people into your garage, into your basement, into your backyard, and train them. So, because remember, Bruce Lee himself turned down the opportunity to open up a chain of Kato Kung Fu schools, right? There were business people that approached Bruce Lee all the time about capitalizing off of his fame, okay? And he turned all of it down and instead went the route of movie making. So when that happened, when he decided to be more of a martial arts actor than more of a martial arts teacher, that set certain things in motion. So when he died, what were we left with? We were left with more of one entity than the other. We were left with more of the martial arts actor than we were left with. It's just like a lot of people don't know that Jackie Chan has a black belt in Hapkido. They don't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Right. You see? But they can tell you his first movie was this and his most recent movie was that. You get what I'm saying? So it's similar with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is a celebrity. Bruce Lee is a superstar, and that's why more people know his name, less people know his art. And he told the in charge people to do it on a small scale. There's the quote about numbers low, quality high. So Jeet Kune Do came into the mainstream martial art with that, to use the vernacular, with that monkey on its back, a built-in deference towards expansion. Always the idea of just a few buddies hanging out, beating the crap out of each other.
Okay, I'm gonna say something relating to proving grounds, and I'm not trying to counter your point or anything like that, but you know, with the advent of UFC and other professional combat sports, it's evident when somebody has a boxing base, a wrestling base, a jiu-jitsu base, a Muay Thai base. We are seeing people like Lyoto Machida, with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who proudly represent karate and taekwondo, Anthony Pettis in taekwondo and wrestling. There are some people, a little bit like Whitaker, who does represent Jeet Kune Do and Wing Chun, but it doesn't appear to be that there are enough proud ambassadors jumping into these platforms that can elevate Jeet Kune Do. Now, is that because Jeet Kune Do is insufficient or incompatible? Maybe incompatible is more appropriate with the sport combat arena, because it seems to me that if there was a Jeet Kune Do fighter who dominates at one championship, at Bellator, at UFC, and maybe who even walks in with a traditional Jeet Kune Do garb and does the salutation, it would do wonders for Jeet Kune Do.
Right.
Why?
Okay.
Why don't we have that guy?
So remember, we talked about the quick skills self-defense.
Yes.
Okay. So the art or aspects of the art can be formatted to suit that. Aspects of the art can
100%.
be formatted, right? Okay.
Jeet Kune Do for MMA, right? Let's call it that. Jeet Kune Do for MMA.
Yeah, I think there is a DVD series called that.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And there are people who have been trained for MMA by Jeet Kune Do people.
Yes.
What famously comes to mind is Jesse James Kosakowski, right? Trained by Ron up in Waterbury in Connecticut. We know that Kevin Seaman has trained John Jones, has trained forgive me, Kevin, for not remembering everybody's name, right? We know that that Eric Paulson has trained
Greg
people.
Nelson has four.
Right. Greg
UFC
Nelson has
champions.
trained people, right? Burton Richardson has trained people, right? So there is representation, but notice that it is covert.
It is
not overt at all.
Right.
Yeah, because nobody was. You know what? I don't know why they didn't. I don't know why they didn't. I can only assume that those guys perhaps were I don't know. I don't know why they didn't push the Jeet Kune Do aspect of it. Okay? Look, I don't know why. I don't know why Greg Nelson, Kevin Seaman, or what. We should ask them at some point. Mike Wolf is telling us here that Eric Paulson did, at least once, Eric Paulson did go out representing Jun Fan, right? Now, it's possible because of the people I'm thinking about, it might be a desire, I don't know. I can't speak for them. I think if it had been me, I probably would have put my fighter out there as a Jeet Kune Do fighter. Yeah.
Right.
If it had been
it's never too late. And you know what? It's going to happen.
Right.
It's going to happen.
At some point. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Right.
The thing is, like, when an MMA fighter trains in Jeet Kune Do, that was their base. That's what they fell in love with. But their wrestling coach plays a part, right? Their boxing coach plays a part. I think it has something to do with the very nature of the sport itself and the integrity of the individual to say, I can't just call this Jeet Kune Do because my wrestling coach is what helped me win this title, or this boxing coach really is what helped me. But I think it will take, and I think it's going to happen. I definitely think it's going to happen. Some individual who will say, yes, I trained wrestling from, Black House MMA. Right. And yes, I did train at, American Top Team.
Right.
But my coach since I was 8 has been Sifu.
Right.
And he's been there the whole way through. And I am a Jeet Kune Do fighter. And I'm going to walk in to my championship fight representing
That sounds extremely likely to me. Simply because, but not simply because, right? But what will play a part in that is that it has not yet happened.
It has not yet happened.
And so it will. I think you're quite right. It will come to pass. And you know what? And then we're going to go, why the hell didn't this happen before?
Right. And then they're going
Right.
to cite this podcast, February 18th, 2022. We called it because it's going
Yeah.
to happen.
No, but it's
That's
true.
gonna happen.
Because there's so many people. There are so many people. If you know that have a Jeet Kune background, or you'll hear them say they were influenced by Bruce Lee and Jeet Kune or what have you, right? Yet that happens a lot, but not yet. And that it just might be
well, can I say something real quick as you formulate that thought? What's going to make it happen is for a fighter to realize the business and marketing value of it. It's like when for example, when someone like if I was born in Nigeria and I know that there's a budding martial arts business in Nigeria, yet I spent most of my life living in America, right? This happens in the Olympics all the time, right? Choosing which country you represent, right? And this is often a business decision. Kamaru Usman flies the Nigerian flag, for example. He trains in the United States. He's lived there for a really, really long time. Like you see athletes in the Olympics choose to represent their country, whether that's by bloodline or some other connection, despite the fact that they train and live in America for all of their lives. I think the same thing can happen for Jeet Kune. They choose to represent Jeet Kune, and maybe that comes from the heart, but also they need to realize, and I think people need to realize, there's a huge opportunity there. Because if Jeet Kune has a hero, if Jeet Kune has a hero that dominates in the UFC, we are going to see Jeet Kune signs front and center, right? Just look at what the Machidas redid for reinvigorating karate.
Right.
Massive, right? Huge.
Right. Yeah.
I wish this for Jeet Kune, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. You're definitely a little bit more in touch with that aspect of it, you know, like UFC stuff and whatever. Because I'm not a big MMA guy, but related to this, when it comes to the business, I always used to say, if we had been better organized in terms of Jeet Kune business, it's possible that nobody in the Jeet Kune world would ever have had to go to belts, right? Would ever have had to give the public what it expects. We would have been able to sell the public on the idea of different and not same as. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not same as Taekwondo with the belt system. Same as karate with the belt system. Different from the others, because
that's an identity. That's an identity. Yeah. That's a branding. So as we did last time, I'm gonna leave for 30 seconds, but maybe share with us room for improvement and what the Jeet Kune community can do as a community to begin thinking about branding and marketing Jeet Kune as a whole, rather than Jeet Kune as an individual thing. Because when we talk about fragmentation and individualism, the collective image dissolves, and maybe and is that against Bruce Lee's wishes?
Yeah. See, right. So the idea of individualism, the idea of individuality, I talked about that earlier today in the back and forth on Facebook, because it is built in. Bruce Lee had a healthy respect for the fact that everybody on the receiving end of his instruction is a separate individual. And so perhaps that is something that had a negative effect on the spread, because if everything is being done on an individualistic basis, it's harder to move that forward, right, than if it is more united. So since there is that built-in individuality in Jeet Kune, right? So Mike Wolf, are all martial arts not individual journeys? Yes, if we whittle it down all the way down to the individual practitioners. But think about this when it comes to individual journey. The members of the team kata, the members of the Shotokan team kata group. So if you have 4 people who do a synchronized kata for competition, that's not an individual journey. Those people are all working as a complete unit. Now, are they separate? They don't all live in the same place. They're not all from the same family. So there is an aspect of individual journey to their martial art training. Yes. But there are aspects of their martial art that requires them to give up that individuality and become part of the team. I don't know that Jeet Kune has that in any shape or form. I think Jeet Kune is most definitely a creature of individuality. That makes it harder then for the factor that can bring it together is if a particular Jeet Kune or instructor sets up his own organization. So now you have people from all over the world who are part of his organization. So Rick Fay and MKG. So everybody under the MKG banner has to do a certain amount of things the MKG way.
Minnesota,
but I guarantee you, yeah, right. But I guarantee you that Rick is not a dictator, right?
Wow.
And requires every MKG chapter leader to do things exactly the same way, to look the same way, to move the same way. That doesn't exist in JKD. Now, if I am Grandmaster of a branch of the Shotokan karate style, nobody in my organization can have their own ranking system because the organization determines, right, what the ranking system is. They can't teach the kata in a different order from the established order. And we might just be one branch of the art of Shotokan. Now you go to a second branch, a second organization of the art of Shotokan. I bet you they have the same ranking system and they teach the art in the same progression, even though we are 2 separate Shotokan organizations. I don't know about that. Anything similar to that in Jeet Kune anywhere.
Yeah, it seems to me, I had this phrase in my head, let me just share it, is that, Jeet Kune has become a victim of its own philosophy when it comes to recognizability and popularity and right.
And
so Jeet Kune has become a victim of its own philosophy.
And you know why that is? The founder passed away, right, accidentally, and that led to fragmentation. It's a human nature thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
What about this? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
There isn't also a recognizable Jeet Kune aesthetic that we see, right? Like when you see a swing kick and an elbow, that's Muay Thai. When you see a double leg, you can attribute that to a wrestler.
Right. Yeah.
What's Jeet Kune's signature move? One inch punch or something?
No. No. But if we see a guy who we know is right-handed, okay, and he goes in and he sets up southpaw, He does not set up left lead orthodox,
Right.
right? And we see that and we go, oh, let me investigate this guy. And we look up his bio, and his bio mentions Jeet Kune Do. We go, okay, makes sense why he does that.
But then they know the philosophy about why
That's
he's doing that.
Yeah, that's somewhat of a trademark, right? That's one of the aspects of it. You see? Now, if we see a guy who his predominant method is to intercept, right? His predominant method is simultaneous parrying and hitting if he's not intercepting. Okay. And we look him up. We go, oh, Jeet Kune Do background. Now it's evident.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Just because the nature of professional combat sports, these things are universal principles. I don't think when somebody attacks and defends at the same time, like an ankle pick to an overhand right, nobody's going to go, oh, he defended and attacked at the same time.
Right.
Okay. I don't think it's enough. I don't.
Okay.
Think
So
it's
let me.
I think it's the
this.
walk-in. I think it's the walk-in. I think it's the post-fight interview that's going to really elevate Jeet Kune Do in professional MMA. It's not. It's not going to be a recognizable move. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be a Jeet tech because, I mean, that really when I see that, the prevalence of these moves. I mean, I know that's Jeet Kune Do. You know what I mean? And I attribute that to Jeet Kune Do, but I just don't think the public is educated enough to attribute to.
Oh, but yeah, I know. I wasn't talking about the public. I was talking about people like me and you.
Oh yeah,
we can
for sure. I can see. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's happening more and more.
Yes, right. Is not the oblique kick.
Yeah,
absolutely. The prevalence of the oblique kick. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, right. We can say Jeet Kune Do, right? Like we can.
I think we'd be right.
Yeah. Like, who else would do that?
Right. I think we'd be right. You know.
The thing though is things like trapping, for example, right? It happens all the damn time in MMA. Trapping, boom, it happens all the damn time. But no one's attributing it other than Jeet Kune Do people. Like Jeet Kune Do people will see a Manny Pacquiao fight and be like, you see how he trapped his lead hand in the attack? They'll have these conversations. And sometimes they might be ridiculed for it.
Well, but
Pacquiao never took Jeet Kune Do.
Well, but see, that's the thing, right? So people have to remember that Bruce Lee.
Either I froze or you froze. Oh, Al, eye gouges, right? If we allowed eye gouges in MMA, then I think Jeet Kune Do fighters would be like, yeah, let's Jeet Kune Do. Oh, Sifu Dwight, you are frozen. Or either that or I'm frozen. What's up, audience? Who's frozen? Because Sifu is down on my end. Maybe I'm the frozen one. I don't know. Really, man, the commentary is super duper interesting. I wish we could address this stuff. Force equals mass times acceleration. Look at all these people. Dwight is frozen. Okay, so I should keep talking. All right. I want to take this opportunity, and I hope it's okay with Seafood Dwight. I hope it's okay with the community because I'm incredibly fascinated by Jeet Kune Do. And I have to pay homage and give honor to and just show appreciation for the two people in my inner circle who really embody Jeet Kune Do for me, and that's Sifu Mark Medeiros. Please look him up. Mark, Medeiros. We joke around a lot. Incredible fighter. He embodies Jeet Kune Do, and that not only does he know the philosophies, the terminologies, the forms, the techniques, but he actually goes out and he fights, and he is training partners for Muay Thai fighters and boxers. A true explorer. If you guys could do me a favor, Sifu Mark Medeiros. The other one is Coach Steve Dinamo Stelios Dokianakis. They're both on Instagram, and I, I think without these two people, I would not be so receptive. I would not be so open to honestly exploring Jeet Kune because I think, and pardon me for saying this, a lot of the Jeet Kune people that I've met in the past have been very evangelical about it instead of being demonstrable about Jeet Kune. And these two really special individuals, and there are others for sure, but these two guys, Sifu Mark Medeiros and Coach Steve Dinamo, they make Jeet Kune alive, and I can touch Jeet Kune and I can, I can explore its energy in that way. So I just want to give a huge shout out to those two individuals. And Sifu Dwight Woods, what an interesting cat, man. Okay, I see that his I see Sifu's laptop shut down, needs to restart. So I'm just going to talk about this. I want to ask the Jeet Kune community that, or I want to express the fact that you can only do so much with, until, no matter how articulate and intelligent you might be in discussions in online forums, those things really pale in comparison to the boots on ground, in person interactions you have. And I think it's from the perspective of a complete noob. Like I don't know JKD, and some people say I practice JKD. Maybe that's incidental or accidental. I'm beginning to actually embrace it, so that's cool. That's been rewarding. But I think that, man, JKD has so much potential to rise, and Sifu Dwight and I talked about it. It would take just that one hero, one Jeet Kune hero, to dominate a weight division in the UFC and be proud to say, Jeet Kune led me here. I want you guys all to research it. It's going to do so many amazing things for this community that I think, frankly, deserve it. I think it's your time, and I would say that the Filipino martial arts, which is the thing that I'm incredibly passionate about, but even then, because of these Jeet Kune influences that are near and dear to me, I'm never going to be a UFC champion, but let's just imagine, humor me, if I was there, at 185 pounds and I have the UFC belt, and yeah, I want to say, if the Filipino martial arts got me here, I could not do that without also honoring my influences in Jeet Kune. So I think that's what we need, and I think it's these in-person, one-on-one moments that is gonna get us there. Jeet Kune can look good on camera, but I think also, like, we are in such a media-rich, oversaturated marketing hustle when it comes to martial arts in general that we're gonna need something big, really, really big. All the eye gouges, bugies. Okay, so I got a question. What's up with the bugie? I mean, you Jeet Kune people, you make so much of the bugie. Has anyone ever actually bugied somebody? I'm sure. Let me know in the comments. I think, okay, here's what my influences told me, that it may not necessarily be a direct, like, boop, but it's like more aggressive, more primal. It is like to their face. Al, JKD needs to offer MMA fighters interception-specific training. That's interesting. I released a video with a friend of mine, Coach Chad Lyman, who is he's a law enforcement professional out in Las Vegas, SWAT guy. Is just his resume stacked. And we released a video called "Blocking is Useless." That in professional combat sports, you rarely see you almost never see blocks. At best, you'll see a parry, but the vast majority of defensive structure in professional combat sports is covering. It's high cover, otherwise evasion, right? So you move in such a way that the target is out of range. And there's a point to that, isn't there? Because you can only intercept so much. And I think the danger in, by the way, first of all, the training when it comes to interception, I think is incredibly, incredibly valuable. It's valuable for knife defense. It's valuable for combat sports. The training relating to interception and being able to identify threat, trajectory, and angle of travel and being able to meet that with a pass, check, parry, block, interception, super, super, super valuable. It just, when it manifests, it's so subtle. It is such a quick, fleeting moment in time. And it's also very, very risky in professional combat sport. That's why you don't see blocks. You don't really see blocks in professional combat sport because the speed, the intensity, just the overall level of these strikes is not what we might encounter in a street altercation, in a self-defense condition outside. And this is another thing, right? And by the way, I do not want to be the guy who says, "Oh, if JKD is so good, why don't we see it in the UFC?" I'm sure you all hate that. Like I hate hearing that too. But I'm also not going to discount the validity in using combat sport as a method of refining these skills, right? The sport model is oftentimes just completely thrown away by martial artists who cite truthful things like, okay, well, professional combat sports is standardized, it's fair, the rules are set, the time limit is set, and none of these things exist within the framework of a self-defense or a street fight, right? You can't pick up a bat in combat sport and smash your opponent with it. So I think it's faulty thinking on both sides of the equation to completely dismiss the validity of one side over the other. I think if you think you're a self-defense wizard and a street fighter, like, you ought to spar. And I think if you're a combat sport athlete, you ought to explore how these sportive principles, techniques, and concepts can be modified to suit a non-standardized asymmetric engagement as a street fight or a self-defense condition. I hope that makes sense. GN, go ahead and close it up. Computer is taking too long to respond. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you to Seafood White. Thank you to the Jeet Kune community. Man, this has been a really cool conversation. Let's see. I'm going to close it up. But thank you for the commentary. If you guys are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please keep the conversation going. Acknowledge the commentary from your fellow Jeet Kune practitioners and instructors. And hey, listen, thanks again to Seafood White. And I hope you all take the opportunity to say thank you to him as well for this platform, for the work that he continues to do. And personally, thank you to the Jeet Kune community for letting a Filipino martial arts loudmouth like me to have a conversation with somebody like Seafood White and you all. So thank you guys very much. I'm going to figure out how do I close this stream. I don't want to keep it running in the dark. And if I leave, maybe when there's no more participants, that'll close it all. All right, so Nick Cavallino, good convo. Thank you, sir, very much. LA, competition is a good way to put both the art and yourself to the test. I truly think you can't understand JKD until you have competed for a real at a real high level. I 100% agree. And one of the questions I really wanted to ask Sifu Dwight has been in the back of my head is that should JKD practitioners be sparring? So you guys can answer that in the commentary. Is sparring a pillar of JKD? Tai Huang, thank you. He writes, thanks, great conversation. Al, great show. Anthony Labrador, have a good night. Mike Uscale, thank you. No, thank you. Justin Gilead, it's all about entries and timing. Whether it's a redondo to defang a snake or stop, hit, low kick, it's all interception and entries. Okay. That's probably beyond me, but I think I understand the mask. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Fast is lethal. Yes, to a degree, I agree. But also, slow is still slow, and fast is still fast. Richard Ankerson, thank you guys. Thank you very much. All right. Seafood White says, just leave and it'll go blue screen. Thank you, Jeet Kune community. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Peace.
Okay. Everybody's gone by now, but I'm just going to do the wrap up. Sorry for that ridiculous interruption. Might be time for me to set up a GoFundMe and get the official I love Jeet Kune laptop or desktop, so that we stop having these, because I think this computer is trying to tell me that it's on its way out. Anyhow, thanks to everybody who joined in. I think this was episode 210. Thanks to GN for being, as always, an excellent dialogue partner. You guys let me know in the comments if you think we should do a part 3. I think he started to get a little bit technical there. I was trying to follow on my phone. Unfortunately, on the phone, you cannot host the podcast. You could be a guest on the podcast, but you can't host from there. So just let me know if you think we should do a part 3. I'm always up for a good conversation. And that's it. All right. So Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. You guys have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Take care.